worked here in 6 months, but.
Oh God, that's a pretty funny one.
This is flawed right here. Look at this.
Yeah, I might. That's pretty good.
Like the video right now,
That's what Neil's paused on. That's pretty funny. Thank you. Oh yeah, okay. I've seen that one before.
All right.
I can't believe that that's the image just paused on. That's pretty funny.
We are still working on it, guys. Sharif broke the stream. Calm down. Oh, are we good? We're back?
Oh, hello.
There we go. Okay, we're back, baby. Are we good? Looks like you're back. Yes, we are back, Katina, man. All right, so let's go on with what we were saying. We were talking quickly there about the 7-year auction and how it sank the market, but we now are doing that fight at 16,000 between buyers and sellers. Which way will this resolve the rest of the day? We're going to have to wait to find out. My suggestion was that even though the 7-year auction came in much lower than the previous print, I'm talking about the yield, which indicates that the demand was higher for the Treasury note, the 7-year Treasury. It was likely below the consensus of what some in-house, big money analysts probably had, and therefore maybe we got a big move down. And it could also be a sell the news event, right, where you were waiting for a better than expected bond auction. You get a better than expected bond auction, then you sell off. We'll have to wait and see what the rest of the day brings. Quickly, before we get back into the Donchian channels, I should tell you that I'm still involved in this Affirm trade. You know, when it came down into that 31.20, I did take some out over here. I'm lamenting having done that. That lowered my position, the amount of shares that I had, and therefore, you know, if we make newer highs, I won't be in the money as much as I would have been, but we're still holding up above that $31 area, which is kind of my line in the sand on AFRM. We're long 21, so it gives us an 80 penny buffer from where we got in. But anyway, Affirm 7 1/3 to the good on the day, Adara. Let's move on to Donchian.
Yes, let's. So the Donchian charts, or the Donchian channels, sorry.
Yep.
The Donchian channel is basically 3 lines that are generated from different moving average calculations. And they comprise basically an indicator that is formed by upper and lower bands along a mid-range or median band. So you might be thinking to yourself, this sounds a little bit like the Bollinger Bands. It is, but it's a bit cleaner because it will form slightly flatter channels. So basically the upper band of the Donchian channel, my brain turned off for a second there. The Donchian channel marks the highest price of the security over N period, so however many periods you want. Usually 20 is the number that is usually used. And the lower band will mark the lowest price of the security over the same amount of periods. And so the area between the upper and lower bands, that actually represents the channel itself. And yeah, it was named after and coined by futures trader Richard Donchian, who would later be nicknamed the father of trend following.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically the middle band between the higher price over X period and the lowest price of X period is going to be the middle band, which is just computing the average between the highest and lowest prices. Yeah, and sure. Basically it can kind of show overbought and oversoldness. And here we are.
Yeah, so this is the upper line, okay? And what happens here is when you get a price, okay, that makes a local high, the top band will stay at that price for at least 20 days because that's the parameter that you put. Let me show you guys what I mean. It's not a random number that I brought. You choose that in your settings. So for over here, when I chose a Donchian channels, applied study, the period I put in 20. That is 20 periods, okay? It really depends on whether you're looking at the daily, you're looking at the hourly, the 5-minute, whatever. It's 20 of whatever you're looking at. So if I've got the daily chart, it's a 20 period chart. If I'm looking at the hourly, it's 20 hours. But the point is you're using 20 as your standard metric. Now, when you get a new high, that high will, the upper channel will stay at that high for 20 periods unless it is a new high is made, in which case it'll move up to that new high. It will stay at that 20 period it will stay at that, that high for 20 periods. And if no new high is made, it will incrementally start coming down like you see here. So let's go. So we made a high over here on Apple on July 19th. We know that these were the July highs that we still haven't breached. Look at that price. We almost breached 200. We got into, I believe, 197 and change. What was that? 198.23, okay? So we stayed at this period, at this line over here for 20 days, but we never made a new high after that. So what happened? We incrementally started coming back down. And then look, we made a new high over here on September 5th. So we stayed at that high for 20 periods, but no new high was made, so we started coming back down. The point I'm trying to make is when you make a new high or new low, the upper or lower band will stay at that high or low for 20 periods unless it is a new high is made or a new low is made, depending on whether you're talking about the upper or lower channel. If none is made, if a no new or low is made on the lower channel, the Donchian chain line, the bottom line will start moving back up. If no new high is made on the Donchian, no new high is made, the upper Donchian channel will start coming right back down. And so that what you're looking for here is general areas of support and resistance. Now, there's another way to look at this, okay, is you can tell here in a trending market, in a trending market, look how close the upper and the lower band channels are, okay? But in a consolidative market, when you have huge wicks up and huge wicks down, look how farther away they spread out. That is something counterintuitive because you would think, you know, like we do on Bollinger Bands, when we have prolonged periods of an uptrend, the upper band on the Bollinger Band tends to move away from the lower band. In this case, when we have a trending period, they seem to be narrower together. It's only in consolidative periods that they widen apart. So that's something to observe here as a key difference between the two. Now, what you're looking for on this case, like you are on Bollinger Bands, is a break of the mid-look, a signal to buy and sell could be one of two things. You don't make a new high, so basically found your resistance level, so you short off that top. Or you wait for the break of the median channel, the yellow line on my chart, which signals that, you know, for example, like we had this long move up over here, and then you had a decided break of it over here on August 3rd. You broke the middle line there, and then you came back down and you started making lower lows, right? But then look what happened over here. You got a false signal. This is what Adara was talking about. Multiple false signals, you know, in a consolidative market, they hurt. And that's why moving average indicators are really not good for consolidative markets. They're excellent for trending markets. Where we use, what kind of indicators we use in consolidative markets are oscillators, and we're going to get to those later. So all you need to know is this is good for trending markets, not so good for consolidative markets. Harder to be able to tell what kind of market we're in than just by simply saying it. You know, typically you want to make observations, but sometimes they're not always accurate. So I think we restarted the stream because the chat is not moving, so I'm going to have to load this bad boy up again. And yeah, and then we're going to have to pop up the new chat. That's the second time we've done that today, and I think we've dropped in viewers because of that, but we'll have to figure out what the hell is going on here. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Didn't have the right chat open. Loading it up right now. Yeah. So any questions with what I was talking about? Magic Mike, and it displays higher highs and lower lows very explicitly. Yeah, it does. And that's kind of what you're looking at it for, right? And that's why it's a little bit easier to read than the Bollinger Bands because of these prolonged periods where it doesn't move up or down. However, completely the opposite from Bollinger Bands, this is not good during consolidative markets. You don't want to use this. And look what Apple stock was trending sideways here from like mid-August until essentially November, beginning of November, where we had highs and lows, but no really clearly defined trend. It didn't really give you much to work with, right? It didn't give you much to work with at all. So you got to steer clear of these during consolidative markets, but it's tougher to be able to judge that. It's going to take a lot of practice. And like I've been saying, man, it's really screen time, and more screen time. Anything to add, Adair?
No, I think it's an interesting one just to kind of like think about also like with regards to Bollinger Bands, you know, just very similar moves. And also the thing that I found really interesting too, with regards to this and also with regards to the moving average conversation yesterday when you're talking about golden crosses and death crosses. Yeah. I mentioned this earlier as well, but yeah, it's interesting to think about like it really is more effective in a trending market if you have, you know, that crossover in a chop and churn market, or same with, you know, the Donchian, yeah. Took me a moment there. Oh, good. The Donchian channels, they are generally, like, it's more effective if you have a trending market because then you can kind of see those trends more clearly than when we have chop and churn. So I think that's like probably the most interesting aspect of this that I think I learned that I think is very cool. Yeah, if anyone else has any questions though, we would love to address them.
Critical level here I want to show on Apple. Because I feel like Apple kind of led the market higher a little bit today. It was this huge move up in Apple that corresponded with the huge move up on the future. This white line, as you know, I always chart the closing print from the previous day. This one white line, 189.80, is yesterday's closing print. And so far on the 5-minute chart, we've had 3 wicks off that. So there seems to be some support at yesterday's closing print on AAPL. Just, you know, don't jump into this trade. Get it on the back end, as Neil likes to say. And by that, he usually means wait for it to form a base and then start curling higher, making newer highs, perhaps breaking through 190 before really, you know, jumping into this trade. But one observation that has to be clearly made is the wicks and the buy-up off of those wicks right off that clear support level, and that is yesterday's close, 189.90 on AAPL. But sadly, we are now below that 16,000 on the NQ. I was hoping for a 16,000 general hold. Doesn't look like we're going to get it, but maybe we trend up a little bit above it. All right, guys, put your questions in the chat. With respect to some of the stuff we've been talking about. I know that, you know, it's not the most exciting stuff, the moving average convergence divergence, neither is the Donchian channels, but they are important to know about. Even if you're not going to use them intraday, they're fantastic to have in your, you know, your weapons chest or your toolbox. Thanks, Katina, man. You know, to have, I personally like to use moving average convergence divergence for my swing trades, not necessarily my intraday trades, and you know that's kind of how you you expand, right? Yeah. Wasabi MX. At this time, oh okay. Well, I saw what you tagged me, Wasabi, so you can go ahead and tag me again. Sorry, 98 Nordine. Do you guys actually know that we almost never can read your numbers on the right scale for the charts? I'm sorry, my friend. Maybe I'll look at making them bigger. Thank you for alerting me to that. I will try and make them bigger. Corey Waters, Arsenal. Yes, sir. Arsenal number uno.
Like, that's just all the message says, too. Just Arsenal.
Yeah, Corey's my guy. Arsenal numero uno in the Prem, baby. By 1 point, but whatever. What's the question here? Good. RSI and ATR. So CompuCare team, we talked about average true range when we did our week on risk management. The context in which we brought it up was how to place stops and how to place trailing stops. So we talked about ATR not last week, the shortened week, but the week before. You can go back on the streams and look at those lessons. Obviously, we will be recycling it once we go through everything, but it'll probably be a little bit of time before we get back to that because there's so much more to cover. Wasabi. When they announced the bond auctions, is there also a bid to cover? Yes, there is. I didn't get that data. I know what you're talking about. Brendo sent me that. I'll ask him if he can send me the bid to cover. I don't personally have it at the moment. Say that again, Brendo? It's at the bottom, he said. Okay, I was wrong. I mean, oh, sorry. There it is. 2.440. That was the actual print for the bid to cover. The last one, the previous print on the bid to cover was 2.70. So I hope that helps. Thanks for that, Brando. All right, let me see. Yannick, no, bro. Man City, you're getting blocked for that. No, I'm kidding. You're not going to get blocked. But no, tomorrow. What is today? Tuesday? Oh, there is. Yeah, Champions League today. Well, because Arsenal plays tomorrow, I think, right? That's why. Yeah. Hold on. So it's Champions League today. Yeah, I only care about Arsenal. Yeah, right now we have Shakhtar Donetsk playing Antwerp 1-0. Shakhtar, Lazio and Celtic are 0-0 at the moment. We have PSG playing Newcastle. That's going to be a good rematch because Newcastle wiped the floor with Paris Saint-Germain last time. I believe it was 4-1. We have Milan and Dortmund, AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund. That's a great game. Barcelona and Porto, another interesting one. And then City plays Leipzig as well. Yeah, so those are the games today. Arsenal plays Lens. Tomorrow we play at home. We're going to wipe the floor with them. Who else? Any other good games? Benfica,
so
Inter.
Many games. Oh
yeah,
my God.
Real Madrid and Napoli. That's the game, in addition to the Arsenal game tomorrow, that I want to see. That's a really good game. Napoli, obviously, coming off a Serie A win. Last year, they won Serie A. Their manager, though, I think Lopetegui or something like that, I think he has a new gig with the Italian national team, so he left Napoli there. But yeah, interesting look. We'll see. A la Madrid, says Roger. Anything to add?
Oh, me?
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on
to the soccer discussion, or just because I was my one soccer story is I was once on a flight with the Hamilton team because I was coming back to Winnipeg, and they were also coming to Winnipeg, and I was sat between two of the soccer players, and it was really extra. That's my one soccer-related anecdote. In terms of trading-related anecdotes, yeah, I have stuff to add. My first Walmart short failed in part because I got in at the trough. Sorry for the Dark Wicks kind of obscuring things here. I feel now that we're kind of actually getting in on the pullback. Hopefully I shall have a more successful short here. That is the goal. If we break like that, again, kind of same area, that 158.75, 158.80, bye-bye, au revoir, sayonara. See you later, catch you on the flip to Walmart. But for now, trying to short that, seeing how it's going. Also, still have my eyes on Tesla, Bestla, Stressla. That's a really strong 243.30 top, though. Like, I just want to see if we can consistently break this. If not, I like range trading. I will jump in and around this 242, 243 range. I just would like a more defined range. That would be my goal there. But yeah, so this is an interesting one for sure. But yeah, right now the only trade I'm actually in, I've been taking less trades today just because I'm not seeing a lot of actual, I guess, like indicators for myself to hop in here. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind a Walmart short. I had sort of the right idea last time. I just got in not a great place. So there we go. There we shall go. Also, Reset Life in the chat. I love this. As a newcomer to trading, what metrics should I first study to understand data better? So that's a really good question, and I appreciate you asking, and welcome to trading. I am also a very new trader, so I do fully understand it is something that you kind of have to wait for and kind of understand. I think, honestly, what I did was I went on Investopedia. I kind of learned everything I could, and I think if you are in a community where you can ask like questions, I think even in the chat, you know what I mean? Yep. There's a lot of, even here you can always ask questions, because I think the big thing for me was being lucky enough to be able to learn here on the trading floor, where there's so many people I can ask questions to, even today, doing the midday, being able to ask questions, you know, here with Sharif and everybody. I think it's you know, really good opportunity. So if you do have anyone you can ever kind of bounce, you know, questions or ideas off of, I think that's always really helpful as well. In terms of data, I would say just kind of read everything, absorb everything you can, watch podcasts, kind of see what they talk about and what other people kind of pay attention to. But yeah, I mean, here at How to Trade, I think you are in the right place.
All right. Apparently I said the name of the city Lens wrong. It's pronounced Lens. Since Smooth 1J. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to offend my French-speaking friends. Reset Life. As a newcomer to trading, what metrics should I study first to understand data better? That's a good question. I don't think it's just a matter of understanding data. So let's, oh, she did. Oh, okay, my mistake. Yeah, the book that I want to suggest, Ram was telling me Adara just answered that, but the book that I want to suggest is the one that I suggested to you, Adara, was this one.
Yeah, I've been
Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets by John J. Murphy. Obviously, we're not affiliated with him, but it is a kind of known as like the Bible of technical analysis, especially for beginners. It's one that I've read twice. It's great. It covers everything from the very simplistic stuff. It covers Dow theory, and because Dow didn't even make a theory. It was compiled later after his death that they put together all his works and they made a theory out of his work. He never intended it that way. So it covers Dow theory. It covers moving averages. It covers oscillators. It covers chart patterns. It covers candlestick patterns. It covers Elliott wave theory, which we're going to get to eventually. Complicated stuff, but Elliott wave theory, very important, especially for swing trading. It has point and figure charting. There's a lot of stuff that's covered in this book. It's not the most comprehensive, but it touches on everything. So what I like it for is it gives you the basis and the foundation for every field, and then you can go later and then you can become more versed in that particular field by getting a book specifically about that. So for example, like I said, it covers all these different things, but say I want to learn more about Dow theory, well, it gives me an introduction into Dow theory, or gives me an introduction to Elliott wave theory, and if I want to know more about that, then I go and cop a book that is specifically about Elliott wave theory. But to know these ones is very important. So that's the book that I like. Look at Affirm, baby, as it pops right back up into that 3160. I want to update everybody about the Katina Man's trades because people constantly asking about that in the chat. He is short Microsoft. He is short Intel, and he's still long Affirm from $30.30. So shout out to the Katina Man. Anybody following along with his trades, be made aware. We are also coming back into 16,000 Adara on the NQ. Buyers are trying to do their darndest to bring this one back up after a week result off the Treasury auction.
They're certainly trying to do their thing, 21. Will they succeed? Will they fail? We shall find out. In the meantime, I have just been watching NVIDIA for the longest time, just around that 476, 477 area. Why? Because we had this earlier too, where we had so much top and turn around that 476. And again, NVIDIA has decided that intraday history shall repeat itself. We have, again, more chop and turn around 476. If we can hold 476, I think it's a long for myself personally, just based on what we did earlier today. But I want to wait and see. I'm trying not to be too hasty, too, just kind of let the market tell me what to do. That's why I've been kind of hands off, not taking so many trades right now. In the meantime, Walmart, I said I'd leave if we made a higher high. We almost did. Kind of hard to see with the wicks here. But then we backed off, and I said I don't want to be, I want to stay in this trade as long as it's still valid. Walmart's still valid, and so I'm in the trade for the time being. I got in, like as you can see, 158.62. We're currently at 158.77, so about 5 cents out of the money. We're gonna hopefully see how this goes. I think, based on the pattern here, the fact that we failed to make a higher high, I do think I probably entered this one again a little bit at not the right time. Instead of entering at the bottom of the trough like I did last time, I entered mid trough. But we shall see what we shall see. I am not disliking what is happening right now with Walmart. I'm going to let it run currently. Let me see here. Noam in the chat, can I ask about Macy's for short and long term? Let's look at Macy's. We had recent, this is not the right chart. We had recent earnings on Macy's. So Macy's, yeah, definitely still, I think it was, I want to say about last Friday now. No, the one before that. Let's look, okay, so I'll look at the daily first, just to kind of get a sense. Okay, so on the day, let's zoom out a skosh. Yeah, definitely sort of, we did have that kind of downward pattern here on the day, kind of from about February 2023, heading to the downside. A bit of recovery, though. I think it'll be really interesting if we can kind of see a higher high of that 16.5, 17 area. I think that would be a good move of the longer term on the daily on Macy's. I think that'd be interesting. In terms of like what we're actually doing kind of intraday, let me take a look here. Volume actually about 5 mil on Macy's intraday. This chart is a little bit scary. We kind of made a bit of a double top and then a little bit of pullback. Not one that I would necessarily like to get involved in at the moment. Kind of hurtling towards VWAP. But yeah, it's moving. There's not too much to say on this. The long term, I think, looks more interesting if we can see a break of that 16.5 area, because that would be a higher high. Also, lots of mentions of Tesla in the chat. Stressla is my Bestla. Shout out to subs 756. Let's look at Tesla. Like I said, I always get scared to get involved in names when they're at their higher day or lower of day, because I don't really have a buffer, right? Like, I don't know how much higher they're going to go. I don't know how much lower they're going to go. And I like to plan my profit taking a little bit. Tesla knocking at the door of 244 right now. This is beautiful. Thank God I decided not to range trade in here, because the range has had the top fly off here. We broke 244. Tesla is having a day and a half. What a time.
Yeah, holy, I go to the washroom, I come back.
Tesla decided it was like gonna go wild over here.
Yeah, clearly. All right. We should probably go over it one more time. What do you think?
Let's
right?
do it.
Yeah. So we'll go over moving average, convergence, and divergence one more time. Allow me just to load up my notes over here. There we go. And bring in the MACD chart, which is over here. Okay, so we're not going to look at Home Depot. We're going to look at a firm. Okay, there we go, on AFRM. Okay, so MACD, let's start with that. Sorry for everybody who's heard this, but we constantly have new people coming in all the time, and we have to cover it again. Moving average, convergence, divergence, or MACD is a trend following. So not good in consolidative markets. This is very key, okay? Anything that uses moving averages as an indicator or is composed of the use of moving averages sucks during periods of consolidation. During periods of consolidation, you need to switch from anything moving average related into oscillators, okay? And we're going to get to that in the week on oscillators, but that's what you need to know for now. These are good on trend following periods, okay? Going on, is a trend following momentum indicator that shows the relationship between exponential moving averages, EMAs, we covered that yesterday, and a security's price or an instrument's price, in case we're trading crypto, because I don't want all the crypto people yelling at me saying it's not a security, not a security. All right, the MACD line is calculated by subtracting the 26-period EMA from the 12-period EMA. Simple enough, right? The result of that calculation is the MACD line. The MACD line on my chart, come to the chart, Ram. That was on purpose.
I could tell.
Yeah.
You say it differently when it's on purpose.
Right? Yeah. All right, the MACD line, guys, on my chart is the blue one, and the signal line is the purple one. You'll need to know that, okay? So MACD, blue, signal, purple. All right? The result of that calculation is the MACD line. A 9-day EMA of the MACD line is called the signal line, okay? And that's what this purple one is, which is then plotted on top of the MACD line. We said that was blue, which can function as a trigger for buy or sell signals. So, like we talked about yesterday when we talked about the moving averages, exponential and simple, we talked about the golden cross. We talked about the death cross. What the hell is that? It's not what you think. The golden cross is a buy signal, typically on the daily, and that happens when the 50-period moving average crosses from the south side, from the bottom to the top through the 200, and that's a buy signal. And conversely, the death cross is when the 50-period crosses the 200 from the top side to the downside. That is a sell signal, okay? So that's what we're talking about. These are the buy and sell signals. It is one way we can use the MACD, okay? When this blue line crosses the signal line from the bottom to the top, we buy. When it crosses it from the top to the bottom, we sell. One method for use, okay? We'll keep going on. Traders may buy the security, like I just said, when the MACD line crosses above the sell line and sell, or short the security when the MACD line crosses below the signal line. That's what we just finished saying. MACD indicators can be interpreted in several ways, like I finished saying, but the most common ones are the crossovers, like we just talked about, the MACD line crossing the signal line, or divergences, and this is the one that I like the most, when you're actually seeing a difference between what the MACD line and the signal line are doing on the bottom chart. No, come to the, thank you, Raymond. When you see a divergence between what's happening on the bottom over here versus what's happening on the price chart. And I gave the example of the RSI, right? When we have an RSI above 70, it doesn't just mean automatically sell. No, what we're looking for are the highs of the RSI relative to the highs of the price action. If we're seeing the price action make newer highs, but we're not seeing newer highs on the RSI chart, that is a divergence. And that's the same thing that we're talking about here. You're looking for possible areas of divergence between the price action and what you see on the MACD chart, okay? So that's basically what I'm talking about there. All right, guys. By the way, I just wanted to make a point. If there's anybody in the chat that is talking about Roaring Kitty and statements that Roaring Kitty has made, please double check that and verify that, because we've been having a lot of stuff, you know, allegedly being said by Roaring Kitty that is not always true, okay? So I just wanted to put that out there. Please verify the information that some people are putting in the chart. All right, let's go back to the chart. Let me see if I want to actually talk about this part over here. No. I already talked about the comparison between MACD and relative strength. Now let's talk about some limitations of the MACD and its confirmation. One of the main problems with a moving average divergence is it can often signal, like Adair alluded to earlier, a possible reversal, but then no actual reversal happens. So for example, what we saw here was this big crest, right? And then the crossing of the MACD line below the signal line, right? I'm not saying that it was inaccurate on this particular instance, but just imagine that this one crossed and then we continue to either move sideways or trend a little bit higher. Incrementally, so incrementally that we didn't actually have the cross back to the north side of the MACD through the signal line, but they moved in parallel, like say sideways, like they do over here, okay? So you could possibly get false positives. The other problem is that divergence doesn't forecast all reversals. In other words, it predicts too many reversals that don't occur and not enough real price reversals. So that's one of the main issues with it, especially if you're using it for divergence and not for the crossovers that we talked about, where the MACD and signal lines cross, but we were looking for divergence between price action and the MACD line. I gotta pause for a second because the firm is making new highs. Oh baby, Katina man, it's time to ring the bell a little bit on this one. The Katina man printed it over there, and we just wet our beak, Adara, through that 3180. Go Affirm, go.
That's such a good position.
Yeah, it's not a good one. It's not a bad one. 3180. We just wet our beak there. By the way, now we are 8 1/3 to the good on the day. Affirm keeps popping high single digits. Do we see double? We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, I think we could see double. It does not want to show any signs of stopping. There is still a very nice trend movement to the upside with Affirm. I do not think it wants to stop. Yeah, no, I think I will just like reflect on this trade I'm in currently. This NVIDIA long, no complaints right now. Could have gotten in a little bit earlier, but I wanted to see some confirmation with candles. Saw my confirmation, hopped in. Right now we're kind of slowly on this bicycle, hopefully continuing to the upside. Like I also really liked this. Why I got in here too is if you see, like, this has been intraday a massive point of support, this 476. So that's why I use this as my entry point. You know what I mean? Like trying to kind of find, you know, explain why you're in the trade, make it make sense for yourself before you enter. That's a huge thing that I find to be helpful. I really like this area of support around that 476, 477, hence why I got in there. Hopefully we're just going to let it run. The Walmart short is still trucking along. We are 2 cents in the money. I wish I was joking. I'm really not. Okay. But good times.
I wanted to make I want to give a clear kind of example of what a divergence between what you see on the MACD chart and what you see on the price chart. Look at this. So over here on the price chart, I don't know what stock this is, and it doesn't really matter. You see this low over here at, like, say, I don't know what price that is, like 105 or something. That's a low. That makes the double bottom right there. And then look what we get. We get a newer low right there. So I want you to have a look at this. Look at this. So look at it. So right there we have one low, and there we make another low. Look what's happening on the MACD though. You've made that low. These two are taking place at the same time, okay? So you make that low there, and then when you make a new low on the price, you make a higher low on the MACD. And so that's what you need to be aware of when they start diverging. That may be an indicator that the current trend on the price is changing, okay? And that may be, this would be a good buy signal. In the exact opposite way, if you were to see that on a high, for example, we made a higher high on the price, but we made a lower high on the MACD, that's when you want to sell.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, and that's how that's how Michael Noss taught me how to use relative strength indicator. And that's almost the same thing right here, just you reach it a different way. The only difference, and you're going to ask me, well, Sharif, why don't you just use a relative strength indicator? Well, the RSI is an oscillator, and it's better used in consolidative markets, whereas when we're in a trending market, which we know we're in because it's been a November to remember, right? We would like to use the MACD because that is moving average related and better in a trending market. So that you have to know what market you're in to kind of know what to use, but I just want to give that little piece there. But that's an interesting divergence between the MCAD chart, MACD chart. I always say MCAD. MACD chart and the price action. You want to go into Donchian?
Let's look at the Donchian channels. So this is founded by Richard Donchian, who was the father of trend following, apparently. He created this channel system. So it's basically a technical indicator that is looking to identify bullish and bearish extremes that favor reversals as well as higher and lower breakdowns and emerging trends. So how it does that, there's going to be 3 bands. So the higher band, or the upper band, is going to mark the highest price of a security over X number of periods. Usually it's about 20 periods. That could be 20 days. That could be 20 hours. That could be 20, whatever time frame you want. It's usually 20. And then the lower band is going to mark the lowest price of the security during the same amount of periods. So it's going to be consistent. It's going to be like, it's not like the MACD where you've got the 12 EMA and the 26 EMA. No, you're going to have the same amount of periods for both. And we're briefly going to...
I can do it. Don't worry about it, because you have to do your thing. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I have it up, though.
No,
okay, sorry about that. But yeah, so and then the middle band is going to kind of be the average between the highest and the lowest of the bands, and then that can identify the mean or median reversion price. So very much of note, and you might think, this kind of sounds similar to Bollinger Bands. Sort of it is, but there is, I will bring up an example here in a moment. Here we are. So this is a Donchian channel, as you can see here. It's a little bit with the Bollinger Bands. It's a bit like kind of more all over the place. We have a bit flatter movement here. Oh, make it bigger. Okay, I will full screen it. Here we are. Here we go. And then you can kind of see as we're kind of touching along.
Control, and then press Control button, and then you're the roller on your mouse. Roll up.
Right. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. But yeah, it was going a little crazy there. Yeah. But yeah, so as you can see, when we're kind of brushing up against the higher areas here, it could show that it is perhaps being overbought. And then if we're kind of brushing against the lower portions of the band, the lower portions of the channel, it shows that we may be oversold. So that is, that is Donchian channels, I believe, in a nutshell.
All right, guys, we are brought to you by Benzinga. Use the link in the description for Benzinga's Black Friday deals, the greatest deal of the year, including 75% off Benzinga Pro. Monthly subscriptions now as low as $49.25, that's US. The everything terminal for retail traders. Visit pro.benzinga.com, pro.benzinga.com, and use the coupon code TTVNOV, that's like NOV for November, TTVNOV, to save 75% off now, new subscribers only, and conditions do apply. Adira uses Benzinga every day, and I think she's quite skilled at using it, and I think you like it, don't you?
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, the updates are like very imminent. If there's stuff like bond, well, not, I don't know necessarily bond auctions, but I know definitely with Benzinga, if there's any Fed speak news, immediately you get like the economic numbers. Very useful for checking what the market is doing and what it's up to.
Darwin's killing me in the chat. Will Benzinga take channel points as payment? You're gonna have to ask them, buddy. Shout out to Darwin, always making me crack up.
Also, there's a super chat, sorry, that I just noticed from Nick W. Hey
Nick
guys,
Dub.
thanks for the mention of good level on a firm. I'm up almost 200% on my calls. Thank you so much for the super chat, and congratulations to you, Sharif, also killing it with the
and
firm
the Katina
today.
man. Yeah, we're gonna drop the cash for Nick Dub.
Fabulous, congrats.
Yeah, happy that you're printing. Darwin will let us know if they accept payments in channel points. He's gonna let us know. Thank you for that, Darwin. Always pleasure speaking with you. Any other questions with respect to anything that we talked about in the material today? We have about 12 minutes left. I guess we can open it up for anything else. Clearly, something's going on here with Tesla. It is an absolute rocket ship right now, Adara. It has $11 worth of range. 234.01 is the low. 245.27 is the high. The rocket ship, aka Tesla, well, it's not even that much of a stretch because he does own SpaceX, right?
Ooh, nice.
It's going to be its own thing, though. Everybody knows SpaceX is going to be its own thing. And then in addition to SpaceX being its own thing, he's probably going to spin off Starlink away from SpaceX and have that.
Spin off?
Man, he's an OG, man.
Well, he was involved in OpenAI as well, or like earlier back. Like the man's involved in everything. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, he's got his hand in everything. Interesting. I want to mention something here. People were talking about Altman making really good bets. Sam Altman, in case you guys are wondering, he is the CEO now,
they brought him back.
Yeah, of OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT. They're saying that Altman has 3 bets. The first, obviously, is on AI, and he's involved in that. The second, apparently, is on cold fusion. He's making a big bet about cold fusion, and I forgot the third. It was something very like outlandish as well. If anybody reminds me, if anybody remembers, tag me in the chat. Let me know. But that is, I want to talk a little bit about that because we're talking about Musk and his bets and how they've paid off, right? Well, I'm not saying Altman is Musk or anything like that, but he's obviously somebody that I'd like to keep an eye on and follow.
Yeah, he's very cool. He does cool stuff.
Yeah, he's awesome. All right, Charlie, Sharif, when day trading, how often are you utilizing MACD prior to taking a trade? Almost never. That's the truth. No, I'm not even kidding about it. I like to keep it for my swing trades. I do analyze. I have, like, let me show you guys on my, well, I probably shouldn't because it's not supposed to bring in this thing, but. What I do have is a series of charts that have oscillators on them, and I keep them separately. And I have a series of charts that are just moving average related. Like I'll give you an example. So for my moving average stuff, I have the MACD, I have the money flow index (MFI), and I have momentum indicator. These are all moving average derived indicators. And then for oscillators, I have the Bollinger Bands, I have the stochastic indicators, I have the relative strength index, and then the CCI, I forget what this one is called. CCI, I forget, what the hell? Yeah, anyway, well, I have another one called CCI. I forget what it's, what it stands for, what the acronym stands for. So I separate my, my indicators on different charts. So if I want to use a particular indicator, I've already got it set up there. But with respect to my intraday trading, I do not use MACD. I know there are traders out there that do use it. So if you're going to use it, you practice. I'm sure that there is a way to use it. Personally, I like price action better. And support and resistance, that's just the way I trade. Doesn't mean it's the only way. All right, moving down. Interesting question there. Sharif, does MACD work with breakouts and breakdowns? It's supposed to kind of foreshadow them. So for example, when we talked about the divergence between the higher highs, on the price action and not necessarily having higher highs on the MACD. It's supposed to show, well, we may be getting to a level on the price where it may be unsustainable and it may be reversing. So it's supposed to foreshadow what's going to happen conversely, when you have lower lows on the price action, but not necessarily lower lows on the MACD. It may be foreshadowing a price move up. So that's typically one of the ways to use it. The other way to use it is to use the line crossovers. And in that case, it's lagging, not leading, okay? I hope that helps. Zero gravity. Any advice on trading when all these stocks are making 52-week highs? Dude, I cannot agree with you more. This was the syndrome that I kind of dealt with in 2021 when everything was making new highs. I felt that I missed the entire boat, that Plug Power was going to be $50 forever. Rivian was going to be over $100. Look where they are now. Look where they are now. You're not going to miss the boat forever and ever. The prices are going to come down. Markets are cyclical. We have something in economics called the business cycle. You're always going to go through the business cycle. That's capitalism, and there's just really nothing you can do about that. So you haven't missed the boat. There are always going to be good names. Prices are going to come down. It's just sometimes they just keep running, and you don't know, where the hell do I get in? Where do I've been through that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Things will come back around. Obviously, I said this to Adara the other day. And then the Katina man got on my back. I'm like, there is this sick compulsion for people to want to buy stocks when they're depressed. And then the Katina man, he intervened. He's like, you bought nat gas at lows, right? But that wasn't the play. Like, I bought Apple at highs. I bought Li Auto at highs. I bought Caterpillar at highs because I was following the trend. Nat gas, it was just purely speculative bet that I was betting on a cold winter. Really, that's it. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was depressed. So, there is a sick compulsion for people to buy things when they're at lows. The point of why I'm saying this is, even though things are moving high and you feel like that they're moving past you, sometimes this is the best place to buy when things are moving high. And they're moving high for a reason. So I hope that helps. Darwin Sharif reading crypto. I don't know what you're talking about there, man. All right. Any other questions here? Did you see any questions, Adara? Do you want to?
I saw a question earlier. I think it was from Fee Rhymes with the AMC regarding Fibonacci. We're not doing. I will probably take notes on that at some point. I do not have any specific answers on that yet, but I've been trying to kind of take notes on everything. Yep. There's so many lessons. I think my biggest issue as I'm trying to prepare is trying to figure out like what to place where. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, so much to get into. And yeah, hopefully we will get into Fibonacci at some point. So thank you for the question. Yeah.
A firm just touched 32 and then rejected pretty bigly here. We had that 32. Where did we get to 32? Where did we go? 31.99. So I've got a beak wetter there at 90s. If we trend back up, I expected there would be resistance at the whole dollar level. Like, that's just the way these bad boys trade. You're going to have resistance at whole dollar and $10 levels. Let's see if we get that print at 90, but we moved down quite aggressively, about 20 pennies into 31.79. Let's see if we bounce back up, but big move down there on a firm after making a new high day. Smooth. Sharif, what are your thoughts on day trading strategies? I like price levels. Okay, so futures, I like the closing print. I like the 100-point levels. I like highs of day and low of day. I chart those. On stocks, I like the closing print. On equities, I like the closing print, and I like chart patterns, right? Closing print, highs and lows, chart patterns. I'm looking. That's basically how I trade there. I'm not a level 2 trader. There's a lot better level 2 analysts on the floor than me. I'm not a big book trader. I know that, that is a deficiency of mine. I tend to like the chart a little bit more. Those are my strategies, as simplistic as they may seem. Sharif, do you know my friend Big Lay?
I think it's laughing because you had the Big Lee. You said Big Lee. I think
Big Lee.
I believe it is fun.
That's just out of Trump's playbook there. He always says Big Lee. That's why I said it. It's funny. Shout out to John. Anything else?
Oh yeah, Fee Rhymes, the AMC. I'm just asking about future lessons. I'm hoping y'all go over fib extensions as well, please. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got stuff hopefully lined up. I've been trying to, yeah, like I said, take notes on everything and just kind of see how everything fits into each kind of week. But yeah, I would very much like to get into all of that. And yeah, thank you for the suggestion there.
Absolutely.
Also, still, yeah, just kind of an update here. I am still in NVIDIA. We are, it is very, as NVIDIA will do, it is very messing with one's head, perhaps. We just flew up like 50 cents. So yeah, so we shall see. My out, I stop, I leave if we get below this kind of area because it's a lower low. I would like us to get to, you know, if we can get to like 477, 80, 70, whatever, that range, I will stay there. Also, the Walmart short is still trucking along. We have not made a higher high, so I'm still in there. Cybertruck in 2 days, so guess who's going to be trading Tesla when that happens?
It's hilarious. I saw a video of this guy. He got his Cybertruck, and then he went to a supercharging station to charge it. Obviously, everybody wants to talk to this guy. He's got a Cybertruck.
He's got a Cybertruck,
Everybody else has like a Model 3, a Model Y, whatever. They want to go talk to this guy. This guy thought he was king, you know what. Like,
oh, you know he did. He had a Cybertruck? Yeah.
He didn't even want to talk to people. Get off your Cybertruck horse and talk to the people, man. I mean, people want to know how it is. Like, you don't have to be...
Get off your high Cybertruck.
Randy would have given him a how, too. Randy, well, yeah, he's nodding in approval. What'd you say, Ram Ram? I don't answer my own calls, Ram Ram said. I don't know what that means. I don't even know how I giggle. What do you mean by that? Oh, my voicemails. Yeah, because they're from people that I don't know. Ram Ram said that I don't answer my voicemails. Well, you know, they're in front of him. Yeah, okay, all right, Ram Ram. She's making me, she's catching me in a bit of a bind. She's like, you don't answer your voicemails. So why does this person have to talk to randos at the supercharging station that he doesn't know?
That's fair.
Whatever, Ram. The boring man, Sharif. Have you guys thought about making a 4 to 5 minute summary for each TA and posting it on YouTube? Not sure if anyone has done it. Yeah, I will bring it up with Brendo. We'll let him know. Absolutely. I mean, if we can kind of condense the material so that you can refer back to it later, I think that that's pretty cool. You know, you always have the choice, obviously, of going back and watching the feed, which is nice. Yeah, Smooth J, get off your cyber horse. That Cybertruck is the reason why America will become a third world country in 10 years, says Chicago 1807. They are no fan of the Cybertruck. I'm willing to bet by that.
Yeah, I would be shocked if they were a fan of the Cybertruck. That's what I'll say based on that comment.
You like it?
I don't. Truth. I like a boxy car. It is a boxy-ish car.
Yeah, okay.
But that being said, I do not like what was it? Was it Lucid? I don't mind. Was it the XPEV one?
Oh, the
XPEV
NOV,
one that
the MPV,
yeah,
multi-purpose vehicle.
Because I know that was the one that Ramin was deeply upset by.
Oh, she didn't like it at all.
It was not attractive. But no, I do not mind the Cybertruck. I don't love the Cybertruck, but I don't mind the Cybertruck. I like a Jeep Wrangler. I kind of like that kind of look. I enjoy a Chevy HHR when that existed. Yeah, the boxier, the better.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Cybertruck. There we go.
It's 2 o'clock. So
it is.
You know what to do?
Oh my gosh, it is. Look at that. Well, the time flew. I hope we learned a little bit about MACD and Donchian chains today. I know that I think I got some stuff out of this. But yeah, we will see you all tomorrow with more lessons. Same bat time, same bat channel. Brendan's at the big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, back to flats for the overall market here as we get going at 2 o'clock on a pretty busy afternoon. Couple things to keep in mind here this afternoon. This is one of them right now. The dollar starting to put in a bit of a bounce.